Good evening, friends. Wish you a very happy New Year, happy Diwali. We are going to have a fantastic evening today. Our chief guest for the evening is a rock star. He not only looks like a rock star, he lives like a rock star, he thinks like a rock star, and is a man with a golden heart. You are going to meet a very interesting personality. Let me request Mr. Xavier Britto to come on the dais, please. It is a rags to riches story, began from zero, and today he is one of the biggest player of infrastructure development in India. And the company's name also is Indev, which is a very interesting name by itself. So friends, we always try to learn a new sector on every session of Inspiring Conversations. Today we are going to dive deep in infrastructure, the vision for India, what he's done, how he's done it, and definitely we are going to learn all the secret formulas on how he has made it so big in just a span of 32 years. Company was born in 1984. From then to now, he's really come a long way. So that's Mr. Xavier Britto for you. So friends, 1984 is when you started. Before he got into business, Britto was a professor in Loyola College. He must be the richest professor in the country today. Couple of thousand crores is what you become when you are a professor in the initial stages of your career. So all the youngsters can start teaching in colleges and aim to become like him. So how has the journey been, and what has been your greatest learning in this journey?
Thank you very much for this fantastic opportunity. At the outset, I thank Almighty and my parents for this wonderful day.
Don't miss your wife.
Of course, you said,
You have to go back with her.
for every successful person. Probably if you have more women, you have more successes.
Except her, everybody is laughing.
Anyway, it has been I would say it was not a sprint. It was a marathon in my life. I come from a very small village down south, Devakote. Of course, she knows very well. Being from the Chettiar community, Mr. Nagu knows. So, a family of 12 children. My mother was a teacher. My father was a clerk in the court. They were finding it very difficult to bring us up. Fortunately, they wanted us to have good education. And my thanks to all the Jesuit institutions. And in the beginning, in my house, I was the most notorious boy, very troublesome. Because I was dismissed from more than 8 schools, my mother had to find another school out of my town. So she took me all the way to Dindigul. There is a place called Dindigul. Put me in a board school. And I would like to briefly tell you how a man's life changes. I was not studying well. And all along, I was brought up only in Tamil medium. I never studied English.
Wow.
And only in the college I started studying English. And so when I was admitted into the school, 8th standard, I am really indebted to Father Siranjeevi. Even now he's alive. And there also I was fighting with everybody. My nature is like that. I never used to study, fight, and so on. And one day he called me to his room. I said, Britto, in your family, everybody is studying. In fact, my eldest brother is a Jesuit priest. And everybody is studying well. Why you are not doing it? What's the problem with you? Then I used to always sleep on the desk. So he used to call me to his room and give me a cup of coffee. At least now you be awake and do something. And one day he called me. There is going to be Independence Day in the school. My school is very big, more than 6,000 students. You are going to speak from your class. I said, Father, I have never, my brothers are very good speakers. I don't know anything. How I am going to speak? Then Father said, I will write down something. You memorize 10 times, 15 times. You go and speak. If you can't speak, don't worry. And I was just, I thought he's making fun out of me. Then on that day, Independence Day, all the 6,000 students were sitting in the ground, and each class was talking about Independence Day. My turn came, because the whole school knew that I'm good for nothing. So everybody started laughing, how this guy has come onto the stage to speak. Then I just started talking. I don't know where it came from and how I talked. After about 5 minutes, I could only hear the claps of 6,000 students. And then after that, Father called me. You see, you have this talent. And now you divert yourself into this. And that was the day I realized that I have something different in me, thanks to the Father. That is why in my school also, I always tell, teachers can change the life of the student, a particular student.
Fantastic, fantastic. That's a wrong example for my children, that you're a bad student, but I am sure people need to know that he finished his MCom, he became an MBA, he finished his ACS, and I'm sure he's one of the authorities in the logistics business. As far as students and teachers are concerned, he went on to create a school, Father Britto School in Chennai, where there are a couple of thousand students learning. I think 3,000 if I'm not wrong.
Yes, sir.
3,000 students, and just to support the industries of logistics, India is on a growth path, and infrastructure development is one of the most interesting subjects for this country. And he saw the shortfall of professionals in the logistics sector. So he has also started a college where people are taught MBA in logistics. It's a 2-year program?
2-year program.
It's a 2-year program. So it not only does it become a support system for his business, but he's also strengthening the country by bringing in professionals for the logistics sector. So is that backward integration, is it your vision, or is it your give back to the education of the country? What is it?
Talking about logistics? Yes. In fact, our company believes in all-inclusive services under one roof. That is why I have given the slogan to my company, that is competency, competitiveness, and comprehensiveness. When I say if you want to survive in any field, you need to be competent, you need to be competitive, and you need to be comprehensive. Now this comprehensiveness is going to be the solution for India also, if you really want to cut down the logistics cost. Which means...
We are about 13%, I suppose.
Yeah, one of the highest...
And developed countries are below 7%?
Yes, and one of the highest in the world in terms of logistics cost.
Because of the bad infrastructure?
Bad infrastructure, and transaction cost is very high, because you have more middlemen and the market is fragmented. Because of that, you pay a high cost. That is why now the logistic industry, with the GST coming in, probably it will have an impact on the GDP and also on the logistics cost.
So was this complication and was this confusion advantageous to your growth? Because whoever can manage confusion in a developing country becomes a bigger businessman, in short.
Absolutely, because after 1992, India had started seeing the liberalization, and that time only we started seeing world as one potential market.
So you are happy in the license Raj, or you are happy without the license?
Without the license Raj, because...
your growth happened when there was a license Raj.
Maybe because of the complication of the rules and regulations.
You understood it well because you are more educated than the other professionals in the sector, right?
And then by being transparent, automatically the volume increases. That compensates your growth.
One smart thing Mr. Britto did was, when he started to getting into business, he didn't have the capital to start the business. So he got into business which was services. In services, you just need a table space, you start your business, you become a consultant, and you begin your career. But I think the breakthrough started happening 10 years after 1984. In 1994, you actually got into your own infrastructure development for container sheds and trucks and transportation, and all of that started after 1994.
Exactly. After the start of the liberalization.
Liberalization happened in 1991?
92 onwards. And the first ever private container freight station was conceived by me. I submitted the project, and we were the pioneers. That time in India, only 3 private stations were there, container freight stations. But today we have more than 250 all over India. And same way, we came out with a lot of innovativeness, new concepts in shipping, and thereby we were able to get when there was an influx of multinational companies into India,
Who taught you innovation?
when
Was it your study abroad?
no,
Visualizing abroad.
visualizing abroad, yes, and because I never studied, but then I had gone. See, I always think, you have to act locally, but think globally, and that was the concept. Those days when I used to go to Europe, I could see there are so many services, so much of development in the logistics area, and I presumed, and I had the vision, one day India will also have all these developments, and it started happening after 2000.
So you grew with the development of the country as well, because India also infrastructurally grew in 1984 till today, and you got the advantage of growing with the tide.
Along with that, but of course, we never had proper roads in the last 10 years. Even those areas started getting developed. And I'm sure the way in which we are going, maybe another 10 years' time, it becomes very easy for all the logistics operators to have a much better infrastructure development.
Was the competition of the services that you began in 1984 to 1994, was the competition in that sector motivate you to get into infrastructure, where you created infrastructure so that you beat the competition? Because they don't have the infrastructure. Was that the motivator?
Yeah, because when you started, you were among 2,000 people in India. The moment you start your own infrastructure in terms of supply chain management, in terms of free trade zone warehousing, in terms of container freight stations, automatically what happens is that your competition area comes down. In the sense, you come into the top 10. Wherein, what happens is that, after 2000, many international companies came into India. They really wanted that kind of a service. Only very few players could give that. And we were one of them, because we were continuously equipping ourselves to that kind of a development. We were able to serve them, and then we got, our competition got very much down from that, more and more into the top 5.
So the ICD that you have in Tuticorin handles more than 35,000 containers a year.
No, we have
The
more
one
than...
in Chennai handles 65,000 containers a year. And the one in Panvel.
You know more statistics.
And the one in Panvel handles more than 100,000 containers in a year. Now, why is it restricted to only these 3 places and towards the south of the country? And why have you not gone towards the north of the country?
No, at present we have, that's why this is about 2 years back video. We have now in Bombay, Panvel area, big project we have already running, up in the running. And now next February we are opening a big project in Mundra. So now we have got almost 9 to 10 ICDs and CFSs all over India.
The transport facility that you have in your infrastructure development activity, have you outsourced it, or have you taken all the transport vehicles on your company's names?
No, it's very difficult to, the kind of volumes we have, it's not possible to have, that number of vehicles. And another thing is that it is very difficult to manage our drivers. Still, they need skill and professionalism. So it is better to outsource at least 50% of it.
So you believe in outsourcing?
Of course.
Has outsourcing added to your quick growth?
Certainly, because if you really want to grow, you cannot take everything into you. There are better places to invest, and probably you should know prudently, what you need to own and what you need to lease or outsource.
How did you beat your competition during your growth phase?
Basically, what I do is, when there is a competition, I don't look into what exactly they are doing. And I only look into me, what differently I can do. What kind of additional value addition. Today, if you go to any customer, what you need to give them, what is the value addition? So I was just looking into more and more value additions in order to beat the competition.
What kind of training have you involved in your growth so that your employees become smarter employees and they deliver better services to the customers?
Basically, I develop all my youngsters, giving them on-the-job training. And also, we conduct a lot of training programs, and we also expose them to a lot of new areas, and then keep developing them. Because I always believe, if your staff start developing well, you will also grow faster.
And how do you keep them motivated and keep them with you all the time?
Of course, one is money.
For you or for them?
For them. Money for you, money for them. And the most important thing is that you should give them the right respect in the organization.
Have you created entrepreneurs within your organization as employees?
Yes, in the sense, in their own way, they have so much of freedom. Of course, I give them so much of freedom and also accountability. The freedom makes them to come out with a lot of new ideas, financially, operationally, and even at the stage of execution.
How do you classify yourself as a leader when you lead a workforce of more than 3,000 people? How do you describe yourself as a leader, and how are you different from the other business leaders on a similar business?
One is that I set an example to my people by working very hard. Anytime the accessibility and the approachability is always there. And number three, I always keep motivating them because, in this business world, everybody is efficient. And we need to make our employees effective. What is the difference between efficiency and effectiveness is that efficiency plus motivation is equal to effectiveness. So my employees are very effective rather than efficient.
And how do you monitor the reward system, the reward mechanism? How do you honor them? How do you recognize them?
In fact, every year a percentage of our profitability is set aside, and that profitability is being shared with my employees.
Is it an advantage for you to have international collaboration because of the complications of a growing country like India?
See, India is growing and more multinational companies are coming in. The more and more international practices are taking place. You see, I always believe in sharing the core competency levels. You are not competent in every other area. Only when you go for a global joint venture, the core competencies are being exchanged. And then you become more and more globally competitive, and you should emerge as a global logistics player.
One of the world's largest infrastructure company has taken 30% stake in your organization.
Yes.
How has that helped you, and how did you take that decision?
In fact, they also have backward integration, and they are one of the biggest people in terms of technology in warehousing and last mile connectivity, which is missing very much. And after the GST, you will have this express cargo delivery movement is picking up, and this company, Kerry, is too good in the integrated logistics solutions.
You found them or they found you?
Mutually.
How long did you all quote?
Almost 10 years now.
10 years?
Yes.
Okay. No, how much time did you take to find each other?
It took almost 1 year. See, any foreign company, when they come into you, they only see what is your integrity level and what is your past track record, and then what is your potentiality and how well your professionalism is there, what kind of the team management you have. With that, I think it is very quick.
So you negotiated the deal yourself, or you had professionals on your side under your direction?
Of course, Mr. Shivashankar is here. We have a team, and we take into account a lot of financial data and the future growth and so on. And based on that, we have done the deal.
In your growth phase, how did you do the finance management?
I myself a financial person, so I can easily understand what my auditors...
You're a number game guy.
Of course. Because I know, even my wife tells me that in a number game, I'm very fast. So before somebody tells me, I calculate my profit.
Does your foreign collaborator know that?
Of course, without that, I cannot have a profitable and performance-oriented cooperation.
They are taking 20% more from your company. So why have you agreed for that?
The thing is that, see, if you really want to take the advantage of their global network, see, I can't be going and opening offices. They have 70 offices all over the world, and they have the buying acquisition capacity to buy big companies in the world. Automatically, I get their business. It becomes, you see, if I am trying to grow on my own without parting with this shareholding, probably it will take another 10 years' time. By doing this, I could do it in 3 years' time.
How has the collaboration added to your vision?
This collaboration really adding because I really wanted to become a global logistics operator, and it is helping me a lot to understand and also to travel and to get the international technology.
How do you check the decisions that you take, whether they are the right or wrong, whether it could have been better, or is it a weak decision? How do you check your decisions once you make them?
See, my simple thing is, I don't see the timing of the market. I always say the time in the market. My plan is always long term. So whenever I go for any decision, one is my intuition. Number two is my vibration. That is positive vibration. Number three, my experience.
What do you foresee India as a country as far as your business is concerned? Where do you see it leading, and what should be the speed that it is taking up?
See, what logistics growth this country has done is not even 40%. We have a long gap. Compared to China, we are way behind. So we need to, systematize a lot of operations. For example, RFID, we are talking about the tracking of the vehicles, track and trace systems. It's still, it has to grow a long way. So this country has to grow, and for that, in fact, every other conference I've been talking in agriculture, how it is important, logistics is also very important. You have a NABARD, a bank exclusively for agriculture. Create a logistics bank, because we need capital at the cheaper rate in order to develop a lot of facilities which are equal to international levels.
What is your opinion about opinion for growth? Is debt better or giving equity better?
See, for me, they always say 2:1 is the debt equity ratio, but my company believes 6:1, because even if you fall to the next step, not to the bottom. Because in logistics, you need the risk element is very high. So you need to always have a good reserves to back up your risk elements.
You are also one of the largest for cold storages in India. Have you taken that
We are
sector?
now creating a lot of facilities in cold storage. One of the reasons why we have gone with such collaboration with Kerry is that they are too good in cold storages. Although they are owning 45 million square foot in Asia.
Do you also have their shareholding?
Pardon me?
Have you taken shares?
They
in their
have given
company?
their ESOP to me.
Okay, excellent.
Of their Kerry International.
That was a part of the deal?
It was not part of the deal.
You
Before
made it
that,
happen.
yes.
So you're a good negotiator. How do you think when you negotiate? Or for example, for this deal when you sat, what was in your mind? How much did you achieve? What was in your mind?
Actually, what I was seeing in the negotiation is, number one, what is the credibility of my partner? Number two, whether my partner add value to my growth in future. Number three, what new ideas, new applications I can take from my partner. And the fourth one is the financial area. Even when you are negotiating, the amount is less. You should think in the long run how you are going to multiply your investment or the earnings out of your partner. That should be your aim. And in logistics, it's very important. It is not a day's game. You have to wait and see.
So you were one of the first players in Chennai where you got the customs coming into your depot and doing the customs calculations. I think you're one of the first in the country to do that.
Of course. In fact, I was the first one to go in for 1996 to the government to bring the import containers into container freight stations. And I want to, we are proud, from 2009 onwards, I really worked on private air freight station in India. And we are the first ever people, couple of months back, opened the first private air freight station in Chennai.
Can you coach us as entrepreneurs how to convince government on what you want to do?
You need to have with the government perseverance.
In what form?
Perseverance in the sense, the patience. You see, at least compared to a few years back, now things are happening faster. So you should be happy about it. Of course, the system is such that they want to have a lot of controls, and then any new things coming in, they would like to check whether there are so many things they have to think about it.
So is relationship management one of the biggest reasons for your success? Because you're a people's person. I'm sure you must have maintained fantastic relationships with your vendors, with your customers, with the government officials, because this is a regulated activity. So is relationship management one of the biggest reasons for your growth?
Basically, it is very, very important, because logistics is a people-oriented business. You need to have fantastic relationship and personal relationship, and we have to keep on updating their requirements, and then you have to be flexible according to their requirements.
You have got two big plans. One is coming out with an IPO in Hong Kong,
Yes.
and second is getting into the coastal shipping.
Yes, sir.
What is your line of action for that?
2018 will be our listing year. We have already marked it.
Listing in India or Hong Kong?
We have got, because Kerry is there, they also have that requirement. Depending on which is going to be advantageous at that particular point of time, that will be considered by my team. And number two, the coastal shipping is the order of the day, because the statistics has to be understood that when you do, because America and Europe, they encourage coastal shipping, and also the water. Now the waterway bill is passed. It's fantastic. It reduces the cost below 50%. See, by road, when you transport, it costs you 1.5 rupees per kilometer. By rail, it costs you around 1 rupee. Whereas, when you do it by coastal or waterway, it is less than 50 paise. You have to understand that.
So coastal shipping comes first or the IPO comes first?
Only after the IPO, see.
So the money from the IPO will be used for coastal
Exactly.
shipping?
Because when you go for IPO, you need to give your future plans. One of our future plans is to buy coastal ships.
So infrastructure is a business model where crisis management is a part of your business. How have you insulated yourself to ensure that crisis management does not fail?
Generally, the crisis in our logistic industry is very common. And, it is, you cannot expect that. But then, for example, the bad debts, the outstandings are very high. Nowadays, they ask for 90 days, 120 days credit. We should be prepared for it. See, that is the reason why when you are having 4 or 5 services under one roof, you always have an element of control. If one area they skip, another area I can always catch, so that we are better placed compared to other logistic operators.
How do you manage recessionary periods?
According to me, recession breeds opportunities.
And how do you handle bad debts?
In our organization being people's business, and then, it's a service-oriented industry, we always keep 1 to 2% of our entire turnover for bad debts. You can't help it.
That's all, only 1 to 2%.
Exactly. We try to control that. That's why I said, when you have different services, in one area you can catch your client. Even he's trying to escape.
Did you insulate your financial monthly requirements by creating a rental vertical?
What?
Did you insulate your financial monthly requirements by creating a rental vertical?
Yeah, of course, yes. We have our
Was
own
that a
place.
strategy or it happened and then you realized?
What kind of?
Was that a strategy to create a rental vertical or it happened and then you realized it's a good support system?
It is a good support system. Part of it is on a rental basis because you have a regular income. And also now, more and more logistic operators are also going for a light asset basis. And they only see the revenue model. And because of that, we try to have combination of both.
You must be having the best consultants on board to adapt to technology because your presentation shows that you use a lot of technology in your line of business.
It is very important because we have to reach people quickly and efficiently. For that, our technology is getting updated. We have an independent team constantly watching this.
You're very aware about insurance backing your business all the time?
We need to have a heavy insurances to back up because we are having millions of worth of cargo with us. We need to have a very good insurance backup. Otherwise, it's very difficult.
Have you faced international claims in your business?
Of course, we faced, but then we were able to make it through insurance companies.
What is your CSR activity? You're large today. You're a couple of thousand crores in turnover. What is your corporate social responsibility? Or in other words, since you're an individual entrepreneur in the organization, what is your personal social responsibility as an entrepreneur?
One is that I educate a lot of my staff's children, give them the higher education. Number 2, my wife has created a Sikh foundation. We adopt villages, we create libraries for villages. And also in our school, for example, my daughter studied in our school. My daughter, my driver's daughter was classmate of my daughter. They grew together.
Wow, amazing. Amazing. That is living by
Yes.
example.
Even my son is studying there. Some of my drivers' sons are also part of his class. So what happens is that the children are down to earth. They understand what are the difficulties they have to go through.
You also diversified into the hospitality sector. You have got hotels by the name of Estel. You have also diversified into real estate development. You have also diversified into resorts. So what's the idea behind that? Because these are capital intensive activities.
Yeah, just like that, because we had the place, we wanted to put it to the best use.
And you had a lot of extra money to do that.
It doesn't mean we can also borrow from the banks. The thing is that, see, hospitality industry, see, today, India, 3 industries will grow. Now, I will not say industries, 3 areas. One is healthcare. Number 2, hospitality. Number 3, education. Anybody goes into these areas will have to be successful, provided you have to do it properly.
You have a fantastic flair for sports. Like your resort in Mahabalipuram, which is one of the most important parts of Chennai. It has a 30-acre resort which has a floodlights. With the floodlights, you have got a cricket ground over there.
Yes.
So you have a flair for sports.
Yes.
And your flair for sports didn't stop there. you went ahead and invested 100 crores in an activity called futsal. Okay, so the Indian Premier Futsal League, which is brand ambassador by Virat Kohli, is owned by Mr. Britto. His wife is very passionate about the game and she started it. And the world's best futsal players play in that particular league. And it has made India proud because they were the first people to bring people like Figo, Falcao, Ronaldinho, Scholes.
Gigs.
These are all the Sachin Tendulkars of the gigs,
Yeah.
ran gigs, and fortunately for us, the first league which was played in the June and July of last year, as always, Mumbai won. So Ran Giggs was the team captain,
Yes.
and they won because their team's name was Mumbai.
Mumbai is the commercial capital.
Even though Chennai owned the league, Mumbai won the game.
Sure, sure.
So that's a great achievement for a gentleman who began from being a nobody to a scale where you bring the world's most expensive players playing for a developing country like India, telecasted across the world, which had more than 100 million viewers. Social media was totally taken over by futsal, and it was played in Goa and Chennai last year. This year they will be covering, I think, more cities. I'm sure
Yes.
Mumbai is on the map.
Yes, Mumbai, Calcutta, Cochin, Bangalore.
Fantastic. What gave you the might to get into this Herculean task? Because 100 crores of a sport which is not known to India. Futsal, by the way, is a smaller version of football. It is played in a 20 square meters by 40 square meters ground, so 800 square meters, 80 square meters ground, 8,000 square feet ground. It's just like your mini cricket. It's played five-a-side, where even the goalkeeper is active. It's considered as a very healthy sport because all the five-a-side, all the 10 players are on their toes because the distance is short, so you have to be super active. The best footballers in the world are best footballers because they play futsal well.
Yes.
It teaches you balancing, it teaches you stress management, it teaches you stamina, it teaches you quick thinking. So Ronaldinho, if you go and Google on the Indian Premier Futsal League, you will see some very fantastic goals which were hit by
Exactly.
Ronaldinho. They had global views. It was one of the most viewed subject for India in the recent past after cricket. But I think football and futsal is played by more than 162 countries in the world. And because of that, they have got a very large viewership. Sony TV telecasted the futsal event. What was there behind this thought, Mr. Brito?
Actually, I myself was a football player.
Did you want your wife to get busy, so you started it?
No, actually,
Because she handles it.
Yeah, she handles it. She only brought this people with the concept, and then I just wanted to invest in a smaller way. Then she made me to invest more.
Sir, 100 crores is by no means small.
I was not planning for that. It is because of my wife I had to do it because she had a bigger vision for India, as you said, as a social responsibility. Because this one, if you they also conducted a boot camp. They went to 20 states, chose young talents in India.
2,500 children were chosen, I
They are
think.
chosen, and then we had a big camp. And the first time, all these young talents had the opportunity to play along with the world's first-class players.
So the format was 5 players a side, out of which 3 players are international football players, 1 is an international futsal player, and 1 is an Indian upcoming football player. Okay, so that one Indian player gets to rub shoulders with the world's best.
Yes.
So this as a infrastructure was created by Mr. and Mrs. Britto, which was something which even the government must have never thought about. So that was fantastic exposure to a game which is one of the fastest growing game in the world.
More than that, in any school or colleges where you don't have much infrastructure, your basketball court can be converted into your futsal.
And you don't need much investment because the ball is cheaper than a football. It is smaller than a football. It does not get filled with air. It is filled with not air.
It doesn't jump.
It doesn't jump, but it is filled with some material, not air. So it doesn't jump. So it's a small game, doesn't need much investment, and people are enjoying it. We all know gully cricket, so that format of football is futsal.
And today's Cristiano Ronaldo, Ronaldinho, the best players have come from futsal.
From futsal. Even Zidane is, I think, anxious to get into India for futsal.
Yes,
Indian
because
Premier Futsal League.
it develops a lot of skill. The dribbling skill. If you take Messi today is one of the world-class player. he dribbles the ball, they play with the skill. And futsal develops the skill for soccer game.
He has got fantastic in-depth knowledge about futsal now. Of course, he has paid 100 crores as tuition fees.
To learn this.
To learn
costly.
And good that you have got a very expensive wife. That motivates you to earn more by the day and night.
That's why he said, no, she's behind my success.
Fantastic. So futsal has really taken India on the global map. Mr. Britto, we are proud of what you have done. You have made this country proud. You are definitely doing a great role in making the infrastructure of the country which will benefit the masses of the country. I'm sure it will grow bigger by the day. You're still very young to multiply your business multifold. We wish you all the best.
Thank you, sir.
For your coastal shipping, for the success of your IPO, for sure. All of us will be shareholders in that, for sure.
Beautiful.
At the same time, we also wish you all the success with your Indian Futsal Premier League. I'm sure it will be attention catcher like cricket in India very shortly. And in the history, it will be known that it was Mr. Xavier Britto and Mrs. Vimla Xavier Britto who were instrumental in bringing futsal to this country and making it so powerful. So I think that needs a clap. I'm sure Mr. Britto is a man who loves to read history, but more than loving to read history, he loves to create history. He has done that for futsal and for the infrastructure business that he has. I'm done with my questions, friends. It's your turn. We can begin the questions.
And thank you very much. You are a fantastic speaker and fluent in explaining things. I think you have understood futsal much better than me. Fantastic. I think you should be proud of him.
My wife saved my 100 crores.
Sometimes you said no, the crisis and risk go together.
Yes, let's begin with the questions. Sidhu.
Good evening, sir.
Yes, sir.
My question to you is that how did that father motivate you to speak in such a way that you ended up getting claps? What was in the letter?
Actually, in my house, all are very talented in the sense, fortunately, because of my father and mother. I was not knowing about it. And a father gave me an opportunity. See, sometimes, in life, instead of waiting for the opportunity, we need to create the opportunity. That opportunity was created by father. I just memorized. I went on to the stage. What happened, I myself never knew. And probably, I think I had it inside. But it was in a different direction, violence and then, a very rough boy and so on. And it came out and then it gave me a lot of confidence. See, today for all our entrepreneurs are here, only our confidence. See, I always say, crying and trying, only one word makes the difference. Crying collapses your confidence. Trying builds your confidence. All of you have built the confidence.
Fantastic. And it also depends when you meet which father.
Yes.
Yes, Rohit.
Yeah, Mr. Britto, it is said that, when you always tie up with a bigger brand or a bigger company, it enhances your brand equity. But at the same time, was there a threat that the bigger player tries to dominate you, or because it is all the time seen in the fairy tales that everything is equal? But how did you, if that had happened with you, and how did you manage that?
One thing is, when the entrepreneur has got a hands-on experience into his business, because I have come from the grassroots level, okay, when you know your business, when you control your business, the foreign investors can never take over you. Because our Indian situation is totally different, it is very sensitive. They also know about it. So what you have to do is, that you have to keep up your position by always producing something new. So you should not give them the opportunities to bring in. You should create.
So you should always negotiate from the power of strength, right?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, Vicky.
Good evening, sir. My name is Vicky. We were very proud to be associated with this particular game. My parent company and us, we were your strategic and outdoor partner for the futsal.
Was it Capital?
Yeah, Capital Group.
Yeah.
And I think the Dubai thing is also in the process. So don't mind asking me this question. There were a lot of challenges, and we participated with this knowing that this is a fantastic concept. But I hope you understand where I'm coming from when I'm talking about bigger fish and challenges. So going forward, when we talk about multi-cities, what's the strategy, sir?
We never anticipated the challenges. And only challenges will make changes in life, which I strongly believe. After all, we have made efforts and the results have come. What we also anticipate more challenges in the future. We are making certain amendments and also adjustments for such challenges. I think we are confident that we will face it.
We'll face it together.
Thank you. Mr. Sikwera.
Yeah. Sir, I've got two questions. One is in the lighter vein. Mr. Rajesh claimed that he knows about you more than his wife. So what is your decision?
That's why I said, when you have more women, more successes. No, not is that. See, it shows that his sincerity for such get-together, that he studies about a person. The first itself, when I saw the kind of introduction, remembering everybody's name and business, is a fantastic experience for me, because I need to learn this from him. And naturally, it is quite this thing that he has learnt about me. Very simple.
Okay. The second question.
And he didn't have the courage to ask me what all you know.
Okay, now in the second question is, since I am from the stock market, and since you told that there is a listing possibility in first in Hong Kong, then thereafter maybe in India and all that. So just anyhow, at present in Indian stock market, we have got all cargo logistics is the only listed one. So just I want to compare your this thing, how far the size of your company operations.
We are coming close to them, in the sense that their areas of specialization little different from our areas of specialization. But then we are more of infrastructure. So we have a good base in terms of infrastructure, because assets are owned by this company. And listing in Hong Kong is only the option. But today, all logistic companies, whoever is coming, are getting listed very well. The number of times are going up. Even VRL Logistics came, Continental Logistics came. They have all done well. But I'm only waiting for the correct timing, because I need to develop a couple of more projects, which will all be over by next year. Then 2018 is the right time for us. That is what, otherwise I could have done 3 years back. We could have also done well in the market. But we are doing it at the right time.
All Cargo and Indev are the largest infrastructure companies in the country, logistics companies in the country, and there is a constant race between these two companies. I'm sure since we know him, we want him to be number one now, and prayers and wishes also work magic.
Of course.
Yeah, Praveen.
Yeah, good evening,
We'll
sir.
take last 4 questions.
Good evening, sir. My name is Praveen. I wanted to understand in your entire journey as an entrepreneur, did you face any crippling financial crisis? If yes, how did you overcome it?
You know, what I had done is, from the beginning, I was very watchful about what I borrow from outside, whether from bank or others. And then that is why in the initial 15 years, my development was a little slow. I started reinvesting into money-making projects. And then it got multiplied. So long as you keep your debts under control, you will concentrate on your business. My advice to entrepreneur is that there are many people here to give you loans, a lot of money. But then after some time, the pressure is on. When the pressure is on, you will not concentrate on your business. I'm able to concentrate even today because our debts are less.
We'll take last 4 quick questions. Sumit.
Sir, you were a professor initially. At what point did you decide to become an entrepreneur? And also, did you ever imagine you would be so big?
Sir, I never thought that I would become a businessman, because in my family, I'm the first generation businessman. There was nobody, everybody was government workers. In fact, I just joined as a professor to become an IAS officer because my father wanted, and I was commissioned. I only did not go to Missouri. Okay, I passed out my final and all that. And I got a very good ranking also, probably I would have been in the top 25. But then, God's ways are strange. We say in our religion, God's ways are strange. It was only accidental I got into shipping. It was only accidental I started as a custom broker in a small way. That's all. It was not pre-planned at all.
Mr. Bhimani.
Good evening to you. My first question he has asked already, how did you get into logistic business? My second question is, how do you increase your market share in this business?
Only by increasing my clientele base and also infrastructure base Number 3, the distribution base.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yes, Kunal. Yeah, Ralph.
How did you come up with the name INDEF? What does it signify?
See, I was a professor, he told me, no, I was teaching Indian development, there is a subject there. Okay, I was traveling from my house to the college in the bike. I started, my bike is Rajdut, then I had this, in Suzuki, then the third bike is Yamaha, the fourth one was Bullet, and the fifth one, 1994, was my ambassador, 1703, second-hand ambassador. So the journey has been like that. So when I was coming by car, what name I can give? Indian development I was teaching, so INDEV, that's all.
Thank you.
Thank God you are not a biology teacher. Yes, Kunal.
So it's a joy to listen to you, and I really liked in your video and in your presentation how you mentioned you consult your team. You make a lot of decisions consulting your team. So what is your mindset when you hire at different levels, right from the drivers to like Mr. Shiva is here? What goes in your mind?
See, first of all, I give the opportunities to my own people from within. I encourage for example, how I developed my kitchen boy. Today is in charge of my ICD. He was only cutting vegetables for my wife when she got married. Now, I put him as an office boy, developed him, taught him. In fact, she taught him also English. And finally today, same way, an office boy in 1984, today is a COO of one particular vertical.
Wow, wow.
5 lakhs.
Fantastic.
I believe, see, there are school dropouts, but they have a fantastic street smartness. You should know how to make use of them and what is different in them. In fact, they think differently than us, educated people, because we go like a horse. But for them, the entire world is open, because they have not done anything, you know. So they sometimes come out with their very novel ideas, which is an eye-opener for me. Many a times it has happened to me. So I build a team, you know, it's very important.
So do you have a formal HR policies, or are you very eccentric in your approach?
Pardon me?
Are you very formal in an HR sort of a way when you hire, or are you very eccentric, impromptu?
I am very, very informal. You know, with my boys, everybody, I tell I am not a boss. I am your brother. In my family, I tell all my staff, I'm my brother. That's why I say, there are many people behind me and after me. There are only good people with me. That's my success.
Sangram, last question.
Yeah. You have 3,000 employees. Most of them are illiterate truck drivers and...
No.
No?
It is, I have never added drivers because it will be a big crowd.
Okay.
Employee means only from the clerical side.
Okay.
Because that is totally a different team.
Yeah.
Mostly we subcontract them like that.
Okay.
So they are not in the payroll.
Thank you.
Yes.
Hello, sir. One thing which totally differentiates you from your competitors, and how do you see yourself different from VRL Logistics?
See, VRL Logistics is more of transporters, okay? You have to think INDEV as a comprehensive logistics operator. When I say comprehensive, this is called end-to-end solutions. That if you go to the supermarket, you can buy everything in one shop. In logistics services, if you come to INDEV, you can enjoy all the services.
Nago. And Arvind after this.
So Britto, good evening. 32 years back, Britto. 15 years back, Britto. Today, your risk-taking appetite and how you view risk.
I don't want to retire, which means I have to continuously take risk. In this business, unless I go for something which is new, which is time consuming, you will not realize the benefits of it. This is logistics. Suppose I want to start with like AFS. Maybe after 3 years only, it will give me high benefits. But then I need to have the incubation period. And the risk element is that I am investing in the infrastructure. But then the advantage is that tomorrow, if it is not working, at least your real estate is there with you. This is how you have to take it. And most importantly, this logistics business, everybody cannot do it. And you need a lot of experience, particularly when the problems are arising. And you always have crisis. Crisis in distribution, crisis in your lead time, crisis in your clientele approach in terms of it's a thankless job. I always say, logistics, 10 times I will do a good service for you. The 11th time, if I fail, it becomes a thankless job. So you should be prepared for it. So always we are continuously running with risk. 10 years from now, I would see my company is the largest logistics company in India.
Wow, fantastic. Arvind, we conclude with this question.
Thank you, Rajesh, for allowing me to ask the question in spite of time being pressing. Mr. Britto, all cargo, I believe Shetty is from south again.
Mangalore. He's from Mangalore.
That's south for us actually.
Yeah.
So would you
He's a
consider,
fantastic person, brilliant person.
so would you consider him as your competitor or a colleague wherein you can synergize and do something wonder?
It is like this, he's a co-runner. And between talented people, according to me, there is no competition. We only have healthy competition, and we only want to bring something big to this country, different to this country. That's all.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Britto. That was fantastic. Thanks for being here. That was an awesome conversation. I would like to also suggest that one of the burning issues of this country is affordable housing.
Yes.
People and visionaries like you should look at affordable housing with a heart. And
Certainly.
millions and millions of people need affordable housing. It is just an extension of infrastructure. I will request you to look at affordable housing also as one of your verticals
Certainly,
to grow.
sir, it is a good concept, which you are already doing it.
But you should do it, more and more people should do it, so that good houses reach to majority of the people who are homeless in this country. So thanks for being on this platform, friends. I think he deserves a round loud of...
Thank you. Thank you, and thank you, Geeta Nagu and Mr. Nagu, for having introduced a fantastic person and august audience. And it is really wonderful, different type of people, and very good questions you have asked, and fantastic vibrations I have. Thanks a lot.
Mr. Daljit Singh ji to come up and honor our chief guest today. And I would also like to request Rekha Chowdhury to come up, please. So Vimla is his beautiful wife who's behind the reason behind his success. Oh, marriages are accidents, but you accidentally got married to her.
One day.
The cup is to be used only for coffee.
Thank you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Nagu. Happy birthday to you. May God bless you, dear. May God bless you, dear. May God bless you, dear. Happy birthday to you.
That's a very romantic voice. Thank you.